Hi, welcome back to another episode of MicDrops. I'm your host, Richie Averill, and today I'm joined by Marc Cunningham. He is with Grace Property Management, and we're going to be talking about property management.
Thank you, Richie.
Welcome.
Thank you.
So first and foremost, what is a property manager?
So if you're a real estate investor and you own a rental property, you certainly can manage it yourself,
Yeah.
right? And a lot of folks do that. But at some times, they decide that either they just don't want the hassle, it's too complicated. In that case, they hire a property manager.
Right.
And the big thing consumers need to remember is that if they're going to hire a property manager, legally that property manager must have a real estate license
Okay.
in the state of Colorado. So you can't hire your buddy, you can't hire somebody on the side.
Yeah.
They have to be licensed. And the reason is because it's a complicated deal.
Right.
We got to protect the consumer and make sure they're doing it right.
Okay. And so if I'm a consumer and I'm looking for a property manager, what would be those scenarios? Why would I need a property manager?
Yeah, and not all consumers do. I mean, a lot of folks self-manage.
Right.
The statistics are generally about 75% of people self-manage.
Okay.
That's great. They
Yeah.
can do that. I think there's three things. If someone's talking to me like, gosh, should I self-manage or should I hire you, Grace Management, as a property
Right.
manager? I don't always say hire us. I say if you want to self-manage, you kind of need three things. Number one, you need the right temperament.
Okay.
Right? It's a business.
Yeah.
And we get calls literally every day from somebody that says, hey, I've been self-managing
Yeah.
and my tenant hasn't paid rent in 3 months and I'm trying to help them out and I've been burned so many times, I'm done with it, I'm done, just take it.
Yeah.
Because they didn't have the temperament.
Right.
They didn't treat it like a business. So you've got to treat it like a business to make sure you got to have the right temperament. Number two, you got to have the time.
Okay.
Because it is time consuming.
Right.
When the water heater blows up at 3 a.m., you got to get that fixed. You got to have the time and the availability. If somebody
Mhm.
wants to see your vacancy on Sunday, you got to make the time. And then the third thing is you need to have the knowledge. And that's, in the current state of things in Colorado, that's what trips a lot of people up because it's a litigious industry. Tenants are sue happy, they
Yeah.
can be. Colorado just passed 4 new big rules pertaining to
Mhm.
property managers, and they're complicated and they're yucky
Yeah.
and they're messy, but they're the law. And they're the law for licensed property managers, and they're the law for individuals.
Yeah.
So if you own one single family home, these 4 new laws apply to you just as much as they do to me as a professional. And,
Right.
and they can really get you in trouble if you don't follow them closely.
All right, so that sounds like a big benefit of just having someone with that additional knowledge base. What are some other benefits of having a property manager?
A property manager really, if they're doing their job for you, the biggest benefit should be they're making you money.
Okay.
Right? They should make the consumer more money than they're costing the consumer. So if you hire a property management company, of course they're going to charge you something. But if they're doing their job right, they're going to save you more money in expenses.
Okay.
And they're going to make you more money in making sure the rental rate is appropriate,
Right.
making sure you don't have a lot of downtime on vacancy, keeping your tenant happy, reducing turnover, because turnover is the biggest
Yeah.
expense that folks have in that space. So a good PM company is going to make you money
Okay.
if they're doing their job right.
Yeah. So I'm sure there are quite a few people watching this right now that might be thinking, okay, I hear all the benefits, this all sounds fantastic, I think I need a property manager. What should they be looking for? How should they go about actually finding and hiring a property manager?
Yeah, in the last couple of years, like PM companies have just been springing up. Right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of competition,
Yes.
which on one hand is good for the consumer,
Uh-huh.
right? I mean, you've got a lot of options to choose
Right.
from. But on the other hand, you got to be careful. There's a lot of PM companies out there. A lot of them are very good, but some of them, quite frankly, like, scare me to death.
Yeah.
Kind of a thing. So what we recommend folks do when they're considering hiring a PM company is number one, like, do your homework, right? So don't just call one company, call multiple
Right.
companies. Secondly, do online research.
Yeah.
You know, nobody can manipulate Google ratings.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I can't control what our tenants say about us on Google. So if you want a true picture of what clients, both owner clients and tenant
Yeah.
clients, think of a PM company, just Google them
Yep.
and read some of those reviews.
Those-
Because people are very, very happy to make reviews,
Right.
positive or negative. So read reviews, go to the Better Business Bureau, see how the company's rated. The DORA, Department of Regulatory Agencies, you can do a license search to
Mhm.
see if there's ever been complaints against that company from consumers. So I think number one, do that, do your homework on that side of things. Number two, when you're talking to that PM company, one of the questions that I think kind of cuts through a lot of the, tell me about yourself, how do you
Yeah.
work, how do you do this, is ask them what their lease renewal rate is.
Okay.
What's your lease renewal rate? Because what that's gonna give you just a great overview of, hey, how happy are the tenants, and what percentage of those tenants renew their leases with
Yeah.
your company every month.
It's
So
a
I think
great
that's just,
question.
it's a good cut through all the junk and
Yeah.
get that answered. Another really important question to ask a potential PM company is, okay, so if I sign up with you, or I'm doing business with you, and I change my mind next month, don't like it, I wanna get out.
Right.
How easy is it to get out of the contract? Unfortunately, our industry is not very friendly to most consumers on letting them out.
Right.
So if the PM company says, well, gosh, it's a 12-month agreement, and if you want to terminate, you're gonna pay me the fees I would have
Yeah.
expected to incur, you're gonna have this big termination fee, like, run away.
Yeah.
You don't wanna do business with those companies, right? You wanna do business with a company that says, hey, we're comfortable enough that if you decide you wanna leave, you're welcome to do
Okay.
so. But a lot of companies don't do that, but I think that's another good question, because at some point in time, you're gonna wanna leave.
Yeah.
Right, for whatever reason, good or bad, you're gonna
Right.
wanna leave. So how easy is it to leave is a good determining factor to see how confident that PM company is in their ability to keep you
Yeah.
on as a client and provide a good level of service.
They force you to
for
stay may not be a good option.
If they're putting handcuffs on you,
Yeah.
run away.
Absolutely. So there you have it. If you're looking for a property management company or thinking about hiring a property management company, make sure you do your homework. Make sure that you're asking the right questions, you're researching multiple companies online, and would you say over the phone would be a good way to
Absolutely,
chat with them?
absolutely.
As well as make sure you're checking out what that termination agreement would be just in case you need an out. So Mark, thank you so much for coming in and sharing your wisdom for property management with us today.
Happy to do so. And I would just say, for folks that are out there, because so many folks in Colorado are buying those investment properties right now. So number one, consider whether you want to do it yourself. And if you're gonna go property management, do your homework, do your research, be cautious on who you hire, because you just don't want to
Yeah.
end up working with somebody that's a bad fit.
Yeah, absolutely. Great information, and we will see you next time on the next edition of Mic Drops.